Welcome to Tales of Terror. Tonight, we invite you to leave the lights behind and step into the shadows. Put on your headphones, close your eyes, and let the sound guide your imagination. You're about to experience a gripping radio drama where every word, every breath, may bring us closer to the truth. Let's go together into Shadows of Ashford.
Tell me, Emily, don't you think Chef Julian finally mastered those lamb chops? Reminds me of that little chateau we visited near Lyon, remember?
I remember, but I was mostly worried about not spilling wine on my dress.
Still obsessing over the wrong things, my dear. But that's what makes you charming, in your own clumsy way. You do look stunning tonight, though. That green dress suits you.
Thank you, Victor. Though sometimes I feel more like an ornament in this house than a person.
An ornament? Come now, Emily. Everything here was built to protect what's ours. That includes you.
Of course. I haven't forgotten.
Evening, Victor. Emily, I hope I'm not late. Traffic through Ashford Hill was a bit of a nightmare.
Daniel, you're here. I was starting to think you'd gotten lost in the fog.
Oh, he found his way. He always does. Like a moth to flame. Care for a drink, cousin?
Only if it comes without daggers, Victor. I've missed these family dinners.
It's been too long, Danny. We barely see you anymore.
Some absences are peaceful. Others raise questions. Tell me, Daniel, what brings you back after all this time?
Maybe I just missed old ghosts.
So, Daniel, still chasing paintings and poetry, or have you finally joined the real world?
Still chasing, I'm afraid. Reality has enough monsters. I prefer the ones I can name on canvas. But then again, you always were the realist.
Victor, don't be harsh. Danny's work has been featured in 2 galleries this year. That's something, isn't it?
Ah, yes. Dreams and galleries. Very useful when the roof leaks.
Still counting the bricks on the roof, cousin? I thought you'd be busy counting your stocks by now.
Let's not do this. Please, it's a dinner, not a duel.
Some duels never end, Emily. Especially when the wounds still bleed beneath the surface. Funny, I don't remember ever drawing first blood. Well, look who decided to join us. Samuel. Right on time, as always.
Victor, Emily, Daniel. I wouldn't miss this evening for the world. Seems like I walked into quite the reunion.
Samuel, you're here. I wasn't expecting you until tomorrow.
Your timing's impeccable, or suspicious.
Suspicious? I prefer strategic. Besides, I came with news. News that might just change how this dinner ends.
News, huh? You've got my attention. Speak then.
There's someone watching. Not just any watcher. Someone who knows secrets. Secrets we thought were buried.
Watching? What do you mean, Samuel? Who?
That's the question, isn't it?
We all have secrets, Samuel. The question is, who's brave enough to dig them up?
Brave or foolish, doesn't matter anymore. Someone's playing a dangerous game, and we are all pawns.
Dangerous? What are you saying? Are we In danger?
If someone's watching, then we need to find out who before it's too late.
Ha 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 ha. It's too late for some of us already. The question now is, who's the next to fall?
Wait, what is she doing here?
I didn't know you were invited, Claire.
Oh, I wasn't, darling. But it is a family dinner, isn't it? Wouldn't want to miss watching you squirm.
Well, Claire, it's been a while.
You still keeping skeletons in your wine cellar, Victor? Or did you finally run out of space?
Who is she?
Claire Beaumont, Victor's ex-fiancée. It didn't end well. 2 secrets, and the people who choke on them.
Claire, this is neither the time nor the place for your usual theatrics.
Oh, come now, Victor. Since when did you care about timing? Or dignity?
Let's not turn this evening into another disaster. We're all here for peace, I hope.
Peace? Sweet Emily, do you really believe that? You're sitting at a table built on lies. Don't pretend you don't smell the rods.
Claire, please, that's enough.
Did Victor ever tell you how he left me? A letter on my pillow the night before our engagement party. A note. No goodbye. No explanation.
I had my reasons, and believe me, Claire, I'm not the one still clinging to the past.
But you are, darling. I can see it in your eyes. You haven't changed. You still hide behind charm and money.
Victor, is this true?
Emily, it's not like that. Claire is twisting the past into something convenient for her bitterness.
Why do I feel like she came here for revenge, not dinner? Maybe, or maybe she's just tired of being ignored.
You think this night is about old flames and broken hearts? No, Victor. It's about truth. And before this night ends, yours will spill. You always did run from confrontation, Victor. Just like you ran from us. From me. This house stinks of secrets and shame.
Then maybe it's time you left, Claire. This dinner wasn't for your theatrics.
Oh, I'm leaving. But mark my words, something ugly is coming, Victor. And you brought it on yourself.
I thought tonight would be civil, but clearly civility dies in this house. She's not wrong about you.
I defended you for years, Victor, even when you didn't deserve it. Tonight reminded me why I was wrong. Emily, I'm sorry. You don't deserve this.
Victor, I don't even know who you are anymore. Do I matter to you at all? Or am I just another name in your list of discarded lives?
Emily, please, stay. Let's talk.
I need air and space. Don't follow me.
Victor, alone, voice low, a whisper. What have I done?
Strange. Mr. Victor usually makes his own coffee by now. Mr. Victor? Sir? Oh, sweet heavens! Help! Somebody! Please!
What happened? Martha, what's wrong?
He's dead. Mr. Victor, on the floor. Blood! So much blood!
No! Oh my God! We need to call someone! Call the police!
Emergency services. What is your emergency?
There's been a murder! Victor Duval! He's been killed in his own home! There's blood everywhere! Please, send someone!
Ma'am, stay calm. What's the address?
14 Ravens Hollow Estate! Please hurry!
This is Detective Harris, Ravens Hollow Police Department. Open the door, please.
Thank God you're here. He's in the study. I didn't touch anything. I swear.
Ma'am, step aside. Officer, secure the area. No one leaves the house. Are there other residents here?
Only his wife, Emily, and guests. They all stayed over after dinner. It ended badly. A lot of yelling.
I'll need their names, and we'll need to speak to each one of them, starting immediately.
Multiple stab wounds. Defensive marks on his hands. This was violent. Personal.
Where's the wife?
She locked herself in the bedroom. I think she's in shock.
Officer Reed, check on Mrs. Duval. I want everyone else gathered in the drawing room. No one leaves. No phones.
My name is Detective Harris. One of you in this room is a killer, and I intend to find out who. We'll be speaking to each of you, alone, starting now.
This is Detective Harris. I need to speak with everyone who attended dinner at the Duval residence last night. No delays. Bring them in, now.
Emily Duval, please take a seat.
Do I really have to be here now? My husband is dead.
I understand this is difficult, but we need your statement. Let's begin. Name.
Emily Duval,
Age.
36.
Occupation.
I work with a nonprofit for children, but mostly I manage the household.
What was your relationship with the deceased?
He was my husband.
And how was your relationship recently?
Complicated. We weren't happy. He wasn't the man I married anymore.
Were you aware of any threats made against your husband?
Everyone hated Victor lately. Even the dinner. It was supposed to bring peace, but it ended in screaming.
Where were you last night between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m.?
In our bedroom. I locked the door. I couldn't take it anymore after that dinner.
Anyone who can confirm that?
No, I was alone.
Emily, just a few more questions. I'd like to understand your relationship with each of the guests who joined the dinner last night.
All right.
Let's start with Daniel Whitmore. He's your cousin, correct?
Yes, we grew up together. He's like a brother to me.
And Victor never had any issues with Daniel?
Well, Victor always thought Daniel was too close to me. He had suspicions, but they were ridiculous.
Ridiculous? Yet you say your husband didn't trust your own cousin?
Victor didn't trust anyone.
What about Claire?
Claire was once engaged to Victor. That was years ago, but she's never gotten over it. She still finds ways to insert herself into our lives.
She seemed particularly tense last night. Would you say she still has feelings for your husband?
Oh, I don't think it's love she feels. Something darker. Envy. Hatred, maybe.
And yet, you invited her.
It was Victor's idea.
Now, Samuel Crane, the neighbor.
He's difficult, always lurking. Victor thought he was nosy, but he's been around since we moved in.
Were they friends?
No, not friends. More like rivals pretending to be polite.
Interesting. Emily, you said you went to bed after the argument and locked your door. But none of the staff reported seeing you leave the dining room. Not the butler, not the maid. Where were they when you went up?
I'm not sure. I just stormed off. Maybe they were cleaning. I didn't check.
So no one saw you enter your room. No one can confirm you were alone.
No.
You say Victor changed, that he was paranoid, violent even. You weren't the only one who said that. But if everyone around him had a reason to resent him,
then maybe you should ask why he made so many enemies, Detective.
Oh, we will. Thank you, Mrs. Duval. That'll be all for now. Mason, close the door. Sit.
Yes, sir.
The coroner's report just came in. Time of death, estimated between 11:30 p.m. and midnight.
Pretty tight window.
The cause, blunt force trauma to the back of the skull. Multiple fractures. Instant death.
Was there a weapon?
Yes, a marble sculpture. Heavy, decorative, from the victim's own study.
So the killer didn't bring a weapon? Used something nearby?
Exactly. And Victor was found lying face down. No defensive wounds. He didn't see it coming.
Someone he trusted?
Or someone quiet enough to sneak up on him.
Now, about Emily Duval. Her statement was calm. Too calm. She claims she stormed out, locked herself in her room, but none of the staff saw her. No alibi. And did you catch the way she talked about the guests? The bitterness when she mentioned Claire, the tension with Daniel.
She's hiding something, but whether it's guilt or grief, I can't tell yet.
Everyone at that table wanted Victor gone, each in their own way.
Do you think she's capable of it, sir?
Everyone's capable, Mason, under the right pressure. Daniel Moreland, please come in and have a seat. Can you please state your full name and age for the record?
Daniel Moreland, 38 years old.
You're Emily Duval's cousin, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And you're an artist, a painter, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Victor often said you were a failure, that you weren't good enough for Emily. Have you ever been in love with her?
I love Emily as family. Nothing more.
Where were you on the night of Victor's murder between 11 and midnight?
I was in my studio, painting, alone.
Does anyone confirm that?
No, I work alone, always have.
You left the dinner early, didn't you? Some guests say they heard a heated argument between you and Victor earlier that evening. Care to explain?
We had a disagreement, yes, but it was about business, nothing personal.
A disagreement sharp enough to kill a man?
No, I'm not a killer.
Then why did you leave without saying goodbye?
I had to clear my head.
Did you notice anyone following you when you left, or anyone acting suspiciously?
No, but Victor was disliked by many.
That's putting it mildly. Thank you, Daniel. That will be all for now. Miss Claire Whitmore, please have a seat. State your full name and age for the record.
Claire Eleanor Whitmore. I'm 35.
You were once engaged to Victor Duval, correct?
That's a name I haven't heard kindly in years. Yes, we were engaged. Once.
And yet, you accepted his invitation to dinner after all these years. Why?
I wanted closure, nothing more.
You sat next to Victor at the table. That was your choice?
I didn't plan it. He insisted.
You argued with him, Claire, in front of the others.
I told him a few truths he didn't want to hear. That's not a crime.
Depends on the truths and what follows after. You accused him of ruining your life, of humiliating you publicly.
He did, but I've moved on.
Some wounds never really heal.
Victor had a talent for destroying people with a smile. Everyone loved him, except those who knew him.
Did you leave the dinner table at any point after dessert?
Yes, I went to the powder room. Ask Emily if you doubt it.
I will. Did you notice anything strange before Victor's death?
There was tension, a lot of it, between everyone.
Who did you think hated him the most?
Hate? That's a strong word, Detective. But if you're asking who had the most reason, you should talk to Samuel.
Interesting. Why Samuel?
Victor ruined his father's business and smiled while doing it.
Thank you, Claire. That'll be all for now. Mr. Samuel Locke, have a seat. State your full name and age for the record.
Samuel Gray, 38.
You attended the dinner at Victor Duval's house last night.
Yes, I was invited.
You stayed longer than most.
Had a few words to settle before I left.
Mr. Gray, Victor Duval died sometime between 11:30 p.m. and midnight. Cause of death, blunt force trauma. Marble sculpture from his own study. Instant. Clean.
I wasn't there when it happened.
You live nearby. Walking distance, isn't it?
2 minutes, maybe less.
So if someone wanted to go back, it wouldn't be hard.
I had no reason to go back.
You seemed uneasy during dinner. You said something strange. They're watching us. We're not safe. What did you mean by that?
Just an impression. That house felt wrong. Too much history. Too many ghosts.
Ghosts don't kill people, Samuel. People do.
Victor created his own enemies. I wasn't the only one who wanted him gone.
Tell me about your history with him.
He ruined my father, took the company my family built and shredded it for sport. I watched my father rot on the inside for years.
Did you ever threaten Victor?
No, I confronted him once, years ago. He laughed in my face.
And yet, you sat at his table last night.
I came for Emily. We go way back. She asked me to come. I didn't want her facing that house alone.
Did you speak with her privately?
A few minutes, nothing important.
What do you think of Daniel?
He doesn't belong in that world. Dreamer, weak. Victor knew it too.
And Claire?
Claire knows how to wear a mask, but underneath, she's colder than Victor ever was.
Do you own any weapons?
I have a hunting knife, licensed, locked in a drawer.
We'll need to see it. Compare it against the trace evidence.
It's not the weapon you're looking for.
Maybe not, but you live 2 minutes away. You stayed longer than most. You had motive, no alibi. I didn't kill him. We'll be in touch again, Mr. Gray. Don't go far. Mason, close the door. Sit down. We need to talk.
Yes, sir.
I've gone through every single statement again, and it's not adding up. Let's go over what we know.
Right. Starting with the time of death. Coroner places it between 11:30 p.m. and midnight. Cause, blunt trauma to the skull. The murder weapon, a marble statue from Victor's own study.
Meaning the killer didn't bring a weapon. They used what was near.
And they knew where to find it.
Let's talk people. Emily says she went straight to her room after everyone left. No one saw her after dinner. That bothers me.
She says she was in her bedroom during the window of death, but none of the staff saw her go up. That's a gap.
Exactly. Then there's Daniel. Quiet, keeps his composure. But Victor humiliated him. And that kind of anger, it doesn't vanish just because someone stays silent.
He had motive, but did he have guts? That's unclear.
Claire, she plays it smart. But Victor hurt her before. She resents him deeply. I can hear it in her tone when she talks about him.
She said he destroyed people. That's not grief. That's venom.
Now Samuel, the neighbor, closest house to Victor, walks home in 2 minutes. Said strange things during dinner. They're watching us. We're in danger. And let's not forget,
He was the last one to leave.
Too many open doors. Too many secrets.
No alibis. Not one of them can be fully cleared. And someone in that house used a sculpture to bash Victor's skull in, silently, deliberately.
What's next?
We bring in Jean, the maid. She sees more than anyone else, and people always underestimate the staff.
You think she knows something?
I think she saw more than she realizes. Let's find out. Good evening, Jean. Please, have a seat. Take your time. I just need a few honest answers. State your full name and your position in the Duval estate.
Jean Mathers. I've worked in the Duval household for 6 years. I'm the head maid.
Were you working the night of the dinner party?
Yes, I was responsible for preparing the dining room, helping serve, and then cleaning up afterward.
Let's be clear, Jean. Did you see any of the guests after dinner?
Only Samuel, just before he left. Everyone else had already gone.
Were you sure it was only Samuel who remained?
Yes, he was standing by the study door, alone, for a few seconds. Then he left.
He stood near Victor's study, alone, just before leaving. Did he enter the study, Jean?
No, I didn't see him go in, but I turned away to pick up a tray. He could have slipped in.
All right. What about Emily? Did you see her go up to her room?
No, I assumed she went upstairs, but I didn't see her.
You didn't see Emily go upstairs. Was that unusual for her routine?
She usually says goodnight. That night, she vanished, quietly.
Let's talk about Daniel. Anything strange in his behavior during or after dinner?
He was quiet as always, but when Victor mocked him at the table, he clenched his hands under the tablecloth.
He clenched his hands. Anger. He didn't show out loud. Did you follow him or notice where he went after dinner?
No, he left the dining room like the rest, but I didn't see him afterward.
And Claire? Did she stay around?
She stepped into the hallway with a phone call. I heard her saying something like, "I can't keep pretending everything's fine."
Can't keep pretending everything's fine. Sounds like pressure. Did she return to the living area after that?
No, she stayed outside for a while. Came back when the others were leaving.
Final question for now, Jean. Do you remember any loud noises? Anything unusual around 11:30?
There was something, a dull thud, like something heavy dropped. It came from the east side, Victor's study.
A dull thud. Around 11:30. From the study. Why didn't you check it?
Because I was afraid. Something about that whole night felt wrong.
Jean, let's go back to Daniel.
Yes, sir.
You said you didn't see him after dinner. Is it possible he stayed behind?
Yes. He was sitting closest to the study door. If he waited for the others to leave, he could have slipped inside.
He could have slipped inside the study, unnoticed. Did he have any reason, personal or emotional, to want Victor dead?
Yes. Victor humiliated him more than once, in front of staff, guests, called him useless, a burden, a coward.
He was publicly humiliated, regularly. That can build something dangerous. Did Daniel ever raise his voice or threaten Victor?
Never in front of anyone. But once, I overheard him in the hallway, whispering to himself. He said, "One day, I'll stop being silent."
One day, I'll stop being silent. Did that day come, Jean? Could last night have been the moment?
If it was anyone, I'd believe it was him. But he doesn't look like someone who could kill.
Looks don't matter. Silence is a mask. What about Claire? You said she had a phone call. Did you hear who she was speaking to?
No names, but she sounded desperate, like someone under pressure, like she wanted out of something.
She wanted out. That could mean many things. Debt, blackmail, or guilt. Was she ever in the study that evening?
No, not that I saw. But she had access. She's been close to Victor for years.
Now tell me about Emily. You said she vanished quietly.
Yes, no goodnight, no footsteps on the stairs. Just gone.
Could she have hidden somewhere instead of going to her room?
Yes, there's a back corridor behind the library. Leads directly to the study's side entrance.
She could have used the back corridor, unseen. Did she have keys? Access to the study?
Only Victor, Samuel, and I had keys, but the study door was open all night.
Jean, one last thing.
Yes?
The marble statue, the murder weapon. Who cleaned that room last?
I did. That statue always had dust on it. Last night, it was wiped clean.
It was wiped clean. No dust. By whom? And why, if not to hide fingerprints? Thank you, Jean. You've been very helpful. Your memory is sharp, and your honesty appreciated. If I need to follow up, my colleague, Moni, will be present. Stay nearby.
Of course, Detective. I'll be ready if needed.
Emily, take a seat.
Again? I already told you everything, Detective.
You did, but now we have new information. Emily Duval, you're being investigated for the murder of Victor Duval. This is a formal accusation.
What? That's absurd.
We'll see. Just answer clearly. Where were you between 11:30 and midnight the night Victor died?
I told you. I went upstairs to bed after everyone left. I didn't check the time.
Did you see Daniel after dinner?
No, he left the dining room like everyone else. I didn't see him after.
What was the last thing Victor said before everyone stood up from the table?
He made a toast, something about power lasting beyond the grave.
Did he say anything to Claire during dinner?
Yes, he mocked her, her job, her divorce. Typical Victor.
Did you see Jean at any point after dinner?
No, she usually disappears once dessert is served.
That's all for now. You may go, but stay nearby.
I always am.
Claire, sit down.
Seriously? Again? I've said everything.
Claire, you're now officially under suspicion for the murder of Victor Duval.
You can't be serious.
Where were you between 11:30 and midnight?
In the garden? I needed air. I was out there a long time.
Did you see Daniel after dinner?
No, he left like the rest of us. I didn't see him again.
What was the last thing Victor said before the guests stood up?
A toast. Something dramatic and smug. Typical him.
Did he speak to you directly during dinner?
He took a shot at my personal life, my failed marriage. Same old crap.
Did you notice Jean after dinner?
No, she cleared the plates and vanished.
All right, you're dismissed. For now. Samuel, sit.
Again? What more do you want from me?
Samuel Gray, you're now a suspect in the murder of Victor Duval.
Of course I am. Figures.
Where were you between 11:30 and midnight?
Walking back home. It's 2 minutes away, you know that.
Did you see Daniel after dinner?
No, not once. He was quiet all night, then he disappeared.
What was the last thing Victor said at the table?
That weird toast about power and death. I remember thinking he was high on his own ego.
Did Victor address you directly?
No, he avoided me. I avoided him. Did you spot Jean after dinner? No clue. I don't notice the staff unless they're serving wine.
All right, don't leave town.
Wasn't planning to.
Daniel, sit down.
Detective, really, I've already answered your questions.
Daniel Morgan, you're now officially under suspicion for the murder of Victor Duval.
Me? No, this is a mistake.
Where were you between 11:30 and midnight?
I was outside, in the hallway, I think. I needed air or maybe I was in the study, just briefly.
The study? That's where Victor was murdered.
I didn't mean, I wasn't there then. I mean, I passed by it before. I don't know.
Did you see Jean after dinner?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. No.
What was the last thing Victor said before everyone left the table?
Something about, the wine, or... No, I don't remember.
Everyone else remembers the toast. You don't?
I guess I wasn't paying attention.
We'll talk again soon. Sit down, Mason. I think we're close.
It's been a long night. Jean's testimony, the others, it's all tangled.
Tell me what you think. Be precise. Every word matters now.
Jean seemed honest. Her reactions, her memory, they felt real. But the others, there's something off. Their answers were too aligned, like a rehearsed script. Except one of them. One answer didn't match the rest.
I noticed the same. Someone claimed to have left, but they never really did. They returned to the study. They hid inside. Exactly. This wasn't an accident. It was planned, carefully. The timing, the silence, it all fits. Still, who? All four have motives. All four lied, in different ways. In the final round of questioning, one of them slipped. When I asked about Victor's words at dinner, 3 of them remembered the phrase, word for word. One of them didn't. They panicked. They answered wrong.
You mean one of them exposed themselves in that moment?
Exactly. The truth is always in the details.
Then who is it, Harris? Who's the killer?
I know who it is, but I'll let the audience decide. So, you've seen it all. Every word, every lie, every moment of silence. Now I ask you, who do you think did it? Now, Emily, the quiet one, Claire, the bitter one, Samuel, the paranoid one, Daniel, the broken one, or maybe, just maybe, you missed something. Tell me, did you figure it out like I did? Drop your theory in the comments. Who do you think the killer is? And hey, if this mystery got under your skin, click like, subscribe, and tell us, do you prefer twisted murder mysteries like this, or terrifying horror tales that haunt your nights? In the next episode, I'll tell you who the killer is, and we begin a new case, darker, deadlier, waiting for you. Goodbye.